Hello and welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about books. I'm Raven.
Jess.
What the heck?
The heck?
Did you cut out again or did you hiccup in the middle of saying that?
I guess I cut out.
Will we ever have a normal recording of you saying your own name?
I guess not.
Today on TIGBAB.
Yeah.
Today on TIGBAB, we're reading A Storm of Swords. We've got characters coming up.
Yeah?
Alright, what are we drinking today? I forget how to do this already instantly.
I guess the last dregs of my lemon ginger honey tea.
Same. Last dregs of my vanilla nut creme.
Vanilla nut creme.
And where did we leave off our characters?
Arya and the Hound arrived at the twins during the wedding feast.
Mm-hmm.
And with Tyrion, Prince Oberyn arrives in place of Prince Doran. And he tells Tyrion that he is there for justice for his sister, Princess Elia, and her children's death.
Mm-hmm. What?
I updated Catelyn's chapter with "they die."
Oh, I thought you were gonna write Cat and Robb get fucking murked.
That's too much Reddit.
They die. The end.
Hurry up and save. Goddamn.
Okay. We don't need to hear about your computer issues right now. Alright? We're in the middle of a podcast recording.
Bad. Too bad. Alright.
Chapter 52.
Ready to finish the Red Wedding?
Yep. So, the Red Wedding was in the last episode. If you didn't listen to it, go back and listen to it. That chapter is cray-cray.
And sad.
And sad. That is right.
So they make it past the feast tents.
This is Arya.
Arya and the Hound.
Yes.
Make it past the feast tents, and they are heading towards the castle gatehouse, where Arya notices the portcullis is being lifted. I had to Google what the fuck that was.
Portcullis?
And that's a gate.
Yeah.
That's lifted up and down with the pokey spikes at the bottom.
Ah, yeah.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
It's being lifted, and the drawbridge has already been lowered. The Hound all of a sudden stops the cart while cursing, and he shoves Arya off the other side.
The fuck?
She lands light. She bounces back on her feet, screaming at the Hound. What?
Why are you fucking pushing me, you motherfucker?
Yeah. But he jumps off as well, and he pulls out his sword. And then she hears the riders thundering out of the gate in a river of steel and fire with no end. The description on the page is awesome. I'm going to read it.
Ooh, okay.
Page 707, second paragraph down. It was only then that she heard the riders pouring out of the castle gate in a river of steel and fire, the thunder of their destriers crossing the drawbridge, almost lost beneath the drumming from the castles. My god. The men in mounts wore plate armor, and 1 in every 10 carried a torch. The rest had axes, long axes with spiked heads, and heavy bone-crushing, armor-smashing blades.
I love the way she sees those as bone-crushing, armor-smashing blades.
Yeah. I guess those are the great swords or whatever. That's the only thing I can imagine.
Sure, yeah.
Bone-crushing, armor-smashing blades.
Mm-hmm.
More and more riders were emerging from the castle, a column 4 wide with no end to it. Knights and squires and free riders, torches and long axes, and there was noise coming from behind as well.
Oh shit.
I think it is nuts that the drumming of the castle still is louder than the horses trampling over the bridge.
Damn. That's some
Like,
loud ass drums.
they're really playing in there.
They must be trying to drown out, the sounds of battle, because
The
otherwise.
sounds of murder.
The sounds of the murder.
Far off, she thinks she can hear a wolf howling, but she isn't sure if she is hearing it with her ears, since she can feel it shuddering through her body, full of rage and grief.
Ooh, that's the Worgener.
That is also a dream from the little dwarf lady.
Wait, what?
The wolf that was howling full of grief.
Oh, yeah.
It was Great Wind.
Yeah. I think we knew that, though, when we read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking around, she sees one of the feast tents have collapsed, and she watches the other two set on fire and then pulled down on top of everyone underneath. And she slowly realizes that she's witnessing a battle. And I'm thinking, oh my god, this is a slaughter, not a battle.
Yes, but I have to, admit, the tent thing was kind of genius.
And horrible.
And horrible.
But genius.
But
like,
genius.
That's an easy way to kill a lot of people.
How do you kill all of Stark's men in one blow? Get the starving dudes into a tent to eat, and then pull down the tent on top of them and light it on fire.
And it's also apparently described that the tents were kind of oiled up that. Like, they were greasy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Greasy. Yep. Set them on fire and pulled them right down. There's a small description of the shrieks being something terrible.
Yep.
And then she recognizes the song coming from the castle that she heard Tom O' Seven sing once for them.
Oh shit! I did not realize that she recognized it.
She recognized it and she knows what it means.
Oh, fuck.
She's immediately horrified. She never once says Reigns of Castamere, but she recognizes the song.
She probably doesn't know the name of it.
Probably.
Yeah.
But she knows what it is.
Yeah.
The hound cuts Stranger loose and mounts him and starts killing anyone dumb enough to fight him. She starts doubting Sandor's place on her list, feeling confused because she's realizing that she needs him while also thinking, but what about Micah? So she's having like a little confused moment while watching him fight. Two men are fighting Sandor when she sees a third charging him. She sees the twin towers on his surcoat and is confused and shouts at him to stop. Instead, he turns around and charges at her. So she chucks a rock at him.
Oh, Arya.
Yeah, a little stone. It hits his temple, which breaks his charge, but then he just wheels around and charges at her again. Arya runs and hides, remembering Cyril Farrell's teachings. And then Sandor cracks open this guy's skull with an axe.
Hell yeah.
She like sees the remains of the other two, and it's like gross. Well, I'm like gross, not her.
Yeah, no, not Arya.
I don't like anything to do with drowning. Just whoa.
Oh, they were drowning.
Scares the fuck. One of them was trapped underneath his horse in a puddle, and he was still alive.
Oh my.
Yeah. So he was drowning in a puddle.
That's brutal.
It is. She shouts about her brother, but Sandor cuts her off and says that he's dead. He points at the carnage around them and says, do you really think they would be slaughtering his men like this if he was still alive? Sandor reaches down to her, telling her to come with him, but she insists that she has to save her mother. Sandor calls her a stupid little bitch and tells her to go ahead, but she won't be coming out. So Arya runs for the gate as fast as she can, as fast as a wolf, and she hears loud splashing behind her. She looks behind to see Stranger charging after her, and a long axe, still wet with brains and blood. Gross. She runs faster than she's ever run before, and then the axe takes her in the back of the head. And that is that chapter.
I'm wondering if George was trying to trick us into thinking that Arya was fucking murked as
like,
well.
Well, All Starks are dead now. That's what it sounds a lot like.
Yeah, he's like, well, they did just see me kill these other two. They probably won't take a lot to convince them that this one's also dead.
Scare her. That scared them a little.
Yeah. Okay, in the show, doesn't this go a lot differently?
In this show, I think Arya escapes as soon as they make it there. Like he's like telling them like, "Let me in. I got pork." He turns around. He's like denied. He turns around to like tell her like, "Let's sneak in," and she's already gone.
Oh.
And, yeah, she sneaks in, and then the carnage happens, and then she sees like them parading her brother's body around a little, and then I think she's hit, and he takes her again. Like he hits her, knocks her out.
Because I have a very clear image of that in my head, of like Graywin's head on Robb's body, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Me too. That was like one of the more memorable scenes.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
Yep, and she like sees it.
Yeah. Knows that that's her brother and that's his wolf.
And didn't Dany have a vision of that too? A dead king with a wolf's head or something like that?
Yeah, at a feast.
At a feast, yes.
So she saw King of the North die. I want to know like how that's relevant to her journey. Like why would they show her that?
Right. Maybe because of her later connection to
Possible connection?
Her later possible connection to the Starks. I don't know what it would mean in regards to that, but maybe it is something to do with that.
Yes.
I do... So, this image of dead Robb with the Graywin's head. So is this not something that actually happens in the book? Do they not actually parade him around with Graywin's head?
Might be rumors spread around that they did that, but I really don't know. So that makes the survivors will know. Like, it'll be like later on, Roose Bolton might say something.
Actually, yeah. Maybe they actually even say something to Tyrion in the next chapter. I don't remember.
They could have.
But that also, if we don't actually hear about that happening in the book, that makes me wonder if in the show they just took that image from Dany's vision. They were like, that would be fucked up. Let's put that in.
Okay. So that was fucked up. It's like the most disturbing part, I think. One of the more disturbing parts.
Yeah. It was very disturbing. It's just like, it's the salt in the wound, you know?
It is.
And easily the shortest chapter we have read thus far in any of the books.
Yeah, it was really short.
It was like 2 pages or something. Well,
okay.
That's that. Arya immediately knows what happened. And now she's stuck with the Hound, who can no longer sell her back to her family. So what the fuck?
What use does he have for her now?
Uh-oh.
Okay, Tyrion.
Chapter 53.
Nice. Tyrion and Sansa are having dinner when Sansa, I think, in an effort to be polite, tries to start a conversation by saying the peas are overcooked. And that is a unique way to spell peas, I think.
I completely agree.
It's spelled Pease. I wonder if that's like an old school way to spell pea.
Probably.
Let me actually write it down. Peas.
Whereas like today we would
Dictionary.
spell it just Peas.
Peas. Yeah. The dictionary for peas is peas. That's it.
Okay. I have found it.
Awesome.
Here it is. Peas, which we now take to be the plural of pea, was originally peas, a dishful of the vegetable. When somebody in the 17th century stuck his fingers in a dish of peas and picked out an individual component, he said, "I'll call this a pea without the S, because it's only one." And that was the creation of the singular form. singular from the plural. Interesting. So they were called peas before they were ever called one pea.
That's so weird.
That's so weird, but so fascinating.
Yeah.
So I guess that's probably why the spelling changed then, because if it was if a singular one became suddenly known as a pea, then they're just going to throw an S at the end to make it plural without the E. Whereas originally it had the SE because that's just what the dish was called in general.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah. Interesting. We learned a thing.
Tyrion jokes about it, but it seems that Sansa takes it as criticism and she apologizes. Tyrion said it's not her fault and not to apologize, but she insists. But Tyrion's mind is elsewhere. He's like too busy thinking about dealing with the Dornishmen who have already been causing a ruckus in the city and pissing off the Tyrells. So he's a bit stressed. After dinner,
After dinner.
After dinner, Sansa asks leave to visit the Godswood, and he tells her to dress warmly. He goes back to work, trying to track gold dragons from Littlefinger's ledgers. Apparently, Littlefinger constantly kept the gold on the move, like their gold on the move, never locking it up in a treasury. He was more interested in making them breed, so he seemed to be quite the investor. But, which Tyrion doesn't seem to comprehend.
Yeah.
As much. Like, he's used to just, like, throwing it in the bank or the treasury and, like, letting it grow from there.
Well, also, like, I think Peter's ledgers are just indecipherable, right? They're, like, super confusing and...
yeah, that makes sense. He would do that, too.
Yeah, so it's really hard to follow what was happening with the money.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps on purpose.
True.
Sounds like Peter to me.
Tyrion briefly thinks about how a lot of people who died during the war with Stannis owed a lot of gold to the castle or to the crown. So it was like kind of stressed about that, having to go after their family members and take their money. So he's like, this is pretty miserable. Anyways, eventually Tyrion is summoned to see his father, and he gladly leaves behind the ledgers. Like, fuck math. He enters his father's solar and sees Cersei, Sir Kevin, Grand Maester Pycelle, and King Joffrey already there. His father hands him a letter that reads, Rosalind caught a fine fat trout. Her brothers gave her a pair of wolf pelts for her wedding. Tyrion asks if Boulder Frey is trying to be poetic and says that the fine fat trout must be Edmure Tully, but the pelts and Joffrey very gleefully tells them that Robb is dead, as if he was the one who did the killing.
Sounds like he would, He is totally the type who would take credit for it just because he thought it was like, oh, you know, he should die. That would be a good idea.
He probably has a fantasy of how he epically murdered him in a epic battle, similar to one that Robert and Rhaegar did.
Oh, I'm sure.
Tyrion's first thoughts are on his child wife in the Godswood, probably praying for the safety for her brother and mother.
Oh,
that is beyond kind.
I think it says a lot about Tyrion that that's his first thought.
Was on his child wife. I like how he refers to her as a child wife.
Yeah.
Because that's what she is. She's straight up a baby.
Yep.
Like what, 13 at the oldest?
She's like 14 now, I think. No?
Oh, really? I thought she was 13.
She could be 13. I don't know. It's fucking hard to keep track of.
I know. They don't really keep track of their own birthdays.
Yeah.
Tyrion says it seems that their war is winning itself. Cersei says that it was their father who has won the war, but Tywin tells them that the war is not won with enemies still in the field. Tywin says most will probably bend the knee of Robb's men. Most will probably bend the knee and he will accept them, except for Harrenhal. He thinks the realm was better off without the brave companions, and he has set Sir Gregor on them, which is also another dream the little dwarf lady had.
Oh, what was it?
In the Hall of Kings, the goat sits alone and fevered as the great dog descends on him.
Oh, shit. So it was Vargo Holt.
Mm-hmm. In the Hall of Kings, that's Aaron Hall. The goat, definitely Vargo. And then the great dog.
So is Tywin Tywin wants to wipe them out just because they're causing so much problems for him out on the field?
Because they switched sides pretty easily. Like, they initially worked with Tywin, and then they switched to what's his face? Roose Bolton.
Right.
Who was working for the Starks and then ended up switching himself. So I think he's like, you know what? I don't like these guys anymore.
Yeah, and he
They're
doesn't
not very
forgive, so...
Yeah. They're not useful to him anymore. He's gonna kill them. Or get them killed.
That makes sense. We know he does not forgive, he does not forget.
Nope. Tyrion thinks that his father is getting everything he can from the mountain before handing him over to Oberyn Martell. Joffrey says he wants them all put to the sword, and he wants to send for Robb Stark's head, which he plans on serving to Sansa on his wedding. Sir Kevin is shocked and reminds him that she is his aunt by marriage. Cersei says that he's just kidding, but Joffrey insists that no, he was a traitor and he wants Sansa to kiss it.
Oh my god.
Tyrion tells him no, Sansa is no longer his to torment and calls him a monster, reminding him that kings are dropping like flies nowadays.
Ooh.
Joffrey says he can have his tongue for that. It reminds him that he is the king. I am king.
I'm the fucking king.
Toddler tantrum. Tywin reminds Joffrey that King Aerys also felt the need to remind men that he was the king, and he was also fond of ripping men's tongues out. Cersei tries to defend Joffrey, but Tywin silences her. Tywin continues his lesson, saying that no one will bend the knee if he kills everyone who turns traitor, and that everyone who has to remind people that he is the king is no true king.
Ooh.
Tywin tells him that once he's won the war for him, they will restore the king's peace, and the only thing that should concern Joffrey is the knocking up Margaery Tyrell.
Damn!
Joffrey then surprises all of them by telling Tywin that he was scared of King Aerys. Cersei orders him to apologize, but Joffrey refuses. He continues saying that his father won all the battles, killed Prince Rhaegar, and took the crown while Tywin was hiding in Casterly Rock, and accuses Tywin of being all talk. Tywin coldly thanks Joffrey for the lesson, and he tells Sir Kevin to take him to bed with some dream wine. Joffrey argues, but Sir Kevin grabs him by the arm and drags him out with Maester Pycelle hurrying after them.
Yeah, someone please get rid of this sack of shit. Good
Why was
God.
he here? Cersei
Who invited this motherfucker?
Right? Who invited this guy? Cersei immediately starts apologizing, but Tywin asks where he would have heard that. Both Cersei and Tyrion say it sounds like something King Robert would have said. Tywin says to Cersei that she had given him the impression that he did not care for his father. And she says, why would he? Robert ignored him and would have beat him if she allowed it. Sometimes he would say things. Tywin says, perhaps he was right, and dismisses her. So she leaves all upset.
Oh, wait, what was she referring to? Sometimes he says things.
I think she mentioned that he beat the shit out of him once over some mischief with a cat. And anyone who knows, like, serial killer.
Oh, yeah. He was probably torturing this kitten, and then Robert found him and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. Like, basically what serial killers. They like to torture animals first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I came to the conclusion that Robert probably didn't pay enough attention to, like, truly see who he was, but probably the things he said were just maybe calling him crazy or psychotic or evil.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Could have been. Yeah, so Tywin says that perhaps Robert was right. Like, he should have been allowed to beat him.
Ooh.
He dismisses her. She leaves pissed off. Tyrion asks then, it's just two of them now. So Tyrion asks how long he and Lord Frey have been plotting this and why was he left in the dark. And Tywin says that no one was told except those who had a part to play. But even then, not everyone was told everything, so they only knew what they needed to know. He tells Tyrion that he has a certain cunning, but he talks too much, so he did not trust him. So the nicest thing he's ever said to Tyrion.
You have a certain cunning, son. Oh no, it's calling him son would be too nice. You have a certain cunning.
But he's got to add the butt.
Yeah. True.
Little slap.
Little slap. Little slippy slap.
Tywin tells him that he has been thinking about how to best appease Lord Oberyn and his Dornish men. Tyrion says that he fears that he would not be happy with just Sir Gregor's head, and Tywin agrees, which is why he does not plan on giving it to him.
Oh.
Tyrion is shocked. He thought they agreed that there are more monsters like Gregor, but Tywin says that they are lesser men, and Sir Gregor has a formidable reputation that he does not want to give up.
Oof.
Tywin says that the plan is to tell Oberyn that it was Sir Armory Lorch who killed and raped Elia and her children. Tyrion reminds his father that Sir Armory is dead, and Tywin's like, yeah, that's the point. Vargo Holt had Sir Armory torn apart by a bear, so it should be a gruesome enough death for Oberyn.
Who was this guy again?
You know what? I don't fucking remember.
Fuck, because I know the name.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. So I wonder if he was like one of the white cloaks from King Robert's time.
But he ended up in Harrenhal if he got ripped apart by a bear.
So Vargo Holt got his hands on him somehow. Man, I really don't know.
Yeah, I'm too lazy to look it up. I'm afraid I'll spoil something for myself too.
Tyrion doesn't think that's justice, but Tywin says that it is, and that it was actually Sir Armory who brought
Isn't it
him.
Amory?
Amory? Is it?
I thought it was Amory.
Was I spelling his name wrong this whole time?
Well, maybe it was like spell checking it for you, like auto correcting.
It could have been. Yep. It's got all the little red underlines under every single name.
Yeah, it was probably auto correcting it.
Yeah. Okay. Sir Amory.
Yeah.
It was actually Sir Amory who brought him the girl's body. He had found her hiding under Rhaegar's bed as if hoping he would protect her. Horrible.
Wait,
Tyrion?
what?
It was Sir Amory who found and killed Rhaegar and Elia's daughter.
No, okay, wait.
Not
So did they have a kid other than the baby?
Yeah, they had a daughter and the baby was the son. The daughter was Rhaenys. And the son was started with an A.
Aegon.
Aegon, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I completely did not know that Rhaenys existed.
Oh. The children. That's more than one.
Yeah, but I'm an idiot, okay? I read what I know.
Excuse me.
Okay, so maybe I'm wrong, but it sounded like they did like fucked up things to this little girl.
Yeah, and it's like later on, like he says that it was pretty fucked up. Like,
oh my
he
god.
explains a little bit more what happens or something. So I will continue. We will get there.
Okay.
Tyrion asks what will he tell Oberyn when he asks who gave Sir Amory his orders. Tywin says that he was acting on his own in the hope of winning favor from Robert, who hated Prince Rhaegar famously. Tyrion thinks that it might work, but is doubtful that it will. He says that if he were Tywin, he would have let Robert kill the children and have the blood on his hands. Tywin does not agree. He says that they came later to Robert's cause and had to demonstrate loyalty. He says Robert was relieved to see them dead because he could continue playing hero to the city They all knew that the children must die for him to secure the throne.
Yeesh.
But he agrees that they died brutally, and Elia did not need to be harmed at all. And that the mountain killed her just because he forgot to tell him to spare her. He was too busy fearing for Jaime's safety to, tell him all the little bits. He says that Sir Amory was almost as horrible to Rhaenys. He stabbed her around 50 times because she kicked him and would not stop screaming. She was around 2 or 3 years old.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Can you imagine having such small pee-pee that a tiny toddler baby screams and kicks at you, so you stab her 50 times?
Dude.
That's
that is
pressed crap.
Yep. There's so many fucked up people in this story, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's disturbing.
Fucked up people who are used because they're fucked up.
Yeah.
He says that if Amory was smart, he would have soothed her with his words and used a pillow. Smothered her.
Yeah.
Tyrion asks if it was a pillow that killed Robb, and Tywin tells him that it was supposed to be an arrow because he and his men are far too dangerous to take on in close combat.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrion asks about Lady Catelyn and is told that she was also murdered. Tyrion balls his hands into fists and says, "So much for guest right."
Mm.
And Tywin doesn't think much for this rule and asks why it's worse for 12 men to die at a table than 1,200 at a battlefield, and Tyrion cannot answer.
I mean, the answer is always like... I mean...
It's rude.
The answer is
rude.
Obvious. It's not that it's... Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you could say it's rude.
It's rude.
But it's, in one of them, both parties know that they're going to battle. In the other, there's some sketchy shit going on.
Yeah, it's slimy.
It's slimy
it's
and...
us.
Yeah. It's cowardly, if you ask me.
It's very cowardly. Yes. That's the word. It was like slimy. What's the word?
Yeah.
Tywin says that the payment for the service was cheap. Everyone will go to Sir Aemon Frey. He was the guy who refused to dance with...
No. That was Edwin.
Oh. I just see E names and like sing that right. Okay. Riverrun goes to Sir Aemon Frey. Lancel and Devon are to marry Frey girls. Lancel.
Get fucked, Lancel.
That's rude to the Frey girls, but whatever. Fuck the Freys.
Fuck the Freys. Fuck the Lannisters. They can all get fucked.
Joy, who I'm assuming is a Lannister chick, will marry one of Lord Frey's natural sons. And Roose Bolton is to become Warden of the North, and he will be taking home Arya Stark.
Wait, what?
Yep. Apparently, he has her. Tyrion is shocked. His men searched for her for more than half a year. Surely she's dead. More than half a year. She's been around 2 years. Holy fuck. Tywin says Littlefinger succeeded where he probably failed. Arya is to marry the Bolton bastard, and they will let the Boltons bring the rest of the Stark's bannermen to heel.
Wait. I'm so lost. Wait. Bolton has Arya? Like, why is he saying this?
He is claiming to have Arya. Littlefinger apparently found Arya, and he sold her to the Boltons.
So that's what Bolton is telling Tywin?
Yup. He is saying
what?
He's marrying her to his bastard. He says that the North is to go to Tyrion's son by Sansa if he ever manages to consummate his marriage. Tyrion asks when will Sansa be most fertile, before or after he tells her that they murdered her mother and brother. That's that chapter.
Well, Roose Bolton's a sneaky fuck. He's playing all sides.
Actually, no. I'm not gonna spoil it.
Wait, what?
He's got someone, but he thinks she's Arya.
What?
So they think they have Arya. They're convinced. I think it's Littlefinger. He probably knew. Because he's met Arya. There's
Oh.
no way he would have mistaken like someone he knew and sold. It's not Arya.
Oh shit. It's
Yeah, it's
fucking
some poor girl.
Littlefinger. Of course it's Littlefinger pulling all the fucking strings. This fucking
Yup.
puppet master.
This guy.
Bruh. What girl do they have? What the hell?
I know who it is.
You do?
Flashback from the first book.
Wait,
You'll
what?
find out. You'll find
Oh!
out.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wait, do I? Is it Jane? It is. Okay.
Yeah, Parrot. You want to know Jane's story? We'll probably find out later.
No, I don't want to. It's just a guess, but
Okay.
I mean, I know I'm right now, but I don't want to know how she ends up there now.
Sorry. Oh, you'll like it. No, you
Oh.
won't. You'll be
Wait, what?
you'll be grossed out.
Oh, come on. I can guess.
Yeah. Well, who was she with? Who sold her? It's gross.
Oh, no.
No. Oh no.
Oh, no. Oh, shit, yeah. Oh, I completely forgot.
You completely forgot Jane?
I forgot what had happened to her. She definitely ended up at Peter's whorehouse.
Hmm. She did.
Oh, no. Oh, Jane.
She was just as innocent as Sansa as well.
Yeah.
So it's pretty freaking gross. Yeah.
I hate this.
Hey.
This is so upsetting.
Alright. This is terrible tragedy after terrible tragedy.
Right? It's like, can we get a break?
Your true victims are girls. Girls of lords. Daughters of high lords.
Yep.
Young daughters.
That is
High
too
lords.
relevant these days.
Except what's his face wasn't a high lord. He was a number 2? I don't know.
Who the fuck are you talking about?
Her father, he was
Oh, yeah. He wasn't a high
What
lord,
was he?
no.
a number 2 to Ned. Like, he was Ned's close man. Well, what was he?
I don't
What did he do?
remember. Was he like a smithy or something? Or like a master at arms?
Like, oh! It could have been that.
Okay. Wait, how do you know this?
I've watched a lot of YouTube videos that go deep into the lore, and they often spoil me.
Are you still watching those?
I haven't in a while.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
all of our chapters for this one.
Oh.
Oh
No.
man, I'm not looking forward to Sansa finding out.
That's gonna really suck. It's probably gonna be the next Tyrion chapter.
It's knowing how George writes though, it's probably gonna be after she finds out.
God, yeah, he's not gonna have Tyrion describing her horror. Oh no, this is Sansa right after Tyrion.
Wait, what?
There's a Sansa chapter right after Tyrion's next chapter.
Oh.
Unless
Okay.
we're gonna see
Yeah.
what she thinks of all this mess.
Yeah. All right. So, how's life?
I'm on holidays for 2 weeks.
Ooh,
What's new with me?
nice.
Johnny, though, was laid off for the first 2 weeks of this month, so he didn't get the holidays off with me.
Oh, what the fuck?
He had to move to later on.
Does he get laid off
Hey!
often?
No.
What is that about?
One of their machines broke down, so they had 2 weeks to fix it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that puts them out of commission for 2 weeks? That's kind of insane.
That was insane. Apparently, they like to use old machinery and just, like, half-ass fix them.
Oy.
Yeah, so, like, when it breaks down, it's broken.
That sounds unsafe.
It does indeed.
I have heard that, like, old machinery is, like, superior to new and that it's built to last. But if it's, like, breaking down a lot, it doesn't really sound like it's that way at all.
Like,
Unless they're not doing proper maintenance.
they do half-ass maintenance.
Ugh.
According to Johnny, like, they don't, like, completely fix it. So like there are times I'm like, wouldn't it just be cheaper to just buy brand new shit? Oh no, his billionaire boss comes from old money, so I don't know. You know.
Uh,
Yeah, so I have been home.
just
Trying to catch up on hobbies and podcasts.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you were over last, I showed you Jake's shirt because he had a Not Another D&D podcast shirt on, and I could have sworn that you had listened to that podcast and told me about it before he started listening to it, but maybe I'm wrong?
Found it in my podcast,
You did.
but I don't think I'm listening to it just yet because I have another D&D podcast and I'm listening to when I catch up with my podcast.
So you've never
That I
listened.
like.
You've never listened to Not Another D&D podcast.
Maybe I tried the first episode. I don't remember it. If I did.
Okay, probably not then. I could have sworn. Okay, what's that podcast that you were recommending to me then? That was a D&D one.
I like it because it's all noobs.
No, which podcast? What is it?
At it. I'm looking for it, bro. Let me look for it. I'm just telling you why I like it. Join the party.
Join the party.
Yes. And they don't like stick to like specific D&D worlds. Like they let their DM do what he wants to do.
Interesting.
They have one pro D&D player who's usually a dungeon master, but he's playing a character. I really love how he plays. They're all so funny. He's the only reason why I know how to say prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation?
I remember when Christine was struggling to say it. And I'm like, prestidigitation? well, now I can't say it. What?
Prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation.
Bro, fuck. Yeah. And I like how he uses that spell. It's really funny.
Prestidigitation. 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 Prestidigitation.
Awesome. You did it.
I did it. I had to look up how it's spelled.
Prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation. What the fuck kind of word
right?
is that?
Isn't it? Like that's like your mouth does not like it. My mouth does not like this word.
It does not.
Like what the fuck is it? Just tumbles out.
But never correctly.
No.
Even when you say it correctly, it sounds wrong.
Right.
Cool.
And you like the one that Jake listens to?
I've only listened to a couple of episodes so far. We've been listening like while painting minis.
Aw.
Yeah. And yeah, it's really funny.
Okay.
There's like one guy who it's his first time playing, and one of the characters is like a halfling Boy Scout.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so he's like marching around trying to gain his like badges.
I am so into that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, he's his name is Beverly.
Oh no. Cute.
And he's Jake's favorite.
I love it.
Me too. But I have been watching Critical Role, which is do you know Geek and Sundry?
Nope.
Okay, well it's this it's a pretty big like nerd entertainment company for like nerdy shit.
Okay.
So they do like they have a ton of different shows and stuff, and I used to watch Tabletop, which I think was them.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, so it was basically like, do you know Will Wheaton?
No.
Okay, well he was an actor in like a Star Trek show a really long time ago or something.
Okay.
But yeah, he was like the host of Tabletop, and basically they would just be trying out new like board games and other tabletop games.
Cool.
Every week or something like that. So I used to watch that a bunch, and Critical Role is their D&D show, I guess. And Matthew Mercer is the DM, and they're all like voice actors. So
Do they all do little voices?
they all put on voices, and
Nice.
Matthew Mercer, the DM, he does voices for every single character,
Nice.
and they're all actors, so they know what they're doing, and it's pretty cool in that way. Um,
Ooh.
but also there's apparently a thing amongst DMs known as the Mercer effect.
Oh.
Yeah, which is basically when your players expect you to be as good a DM as Matthew Mercer.
Oh no.
So this is known as like the Mercer effect because he's so incredible.
Wow. Does Jake listen to him? Or listen to your show?
Not really. I think he would join in if he knew what was going on, but I'm so like far ahead. Like I'm so far
Okay.
into it already that he's like he can't really follow. But if I like have it on,
Listen.
he'll listen for a little bit while like doing other stuff and maybe ask me a question here and there.
Nice.
And he like knows the characters and that sort of thing. So yeah, so that's what I've been binging. I even like have it on at work.
Oh shit.
Pretty much
Awesome.
all day. It's like really helpful for learning
Mhm.
how to play and like the things that you can do and
Oh.
how
Okay.
to make your own character. Like what kind of
Mhm.
quirks do they like, or what
Okay.
kind of quirks do they have? What do they like? What's their personality like? It's a good way to learn how to make a character by watching
Oh.
other people's
Cool.
characters, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I've been itching to keep playing D&D.
For another 2 weeks, eh?
Yeah. Last weekend, part of our party was away
On AK?
on vacay, and then this weekend, Jake and I are away
On vacay?
on vacay. So next weekend, hopefully, we'll be able to.
Johnny and I will be away.
Are you
on
actually?
No.
Oh my god. I was gonna be real upset.
But I'll have my tattoo.
Oh yeah. When are you going?
Thursday. Next Thursday.
Cool. Jess is getting a new tattoo, and I'm very jealous.
I'm excited. Woohoo.
You're getting the
La Katrina.
La Katrina.
La Katrina.
Cool. Where's it going again? Phi?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we should end this here. If you want more of the podcast, please follow us on Instagram. You can follow the podcast at TIGBAB Podcast, or you can follow us separately. My handle is Crimby, Jess's is Jess.Egan24. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search TIGBAB Podcast or Tea is Good, Books Are Better, and we should show up there. Also, please subscribe to our good friend Bahrami on YouTube. He's the one who made our jingle, which you heard at the start of this episode, and he's a really cool guy and makes dope stuff, so check him out. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/teaisgood.books-are-better. We have a few different tea-themed tiers with fun rewards, such as behind-the-scenes content, outtakes, and mini-episodes in which we force our brother to watch Game of Thrones, which he hates. So you will be getting something in return for your contribution, and you'd also be helping us improve the podcast with better equipment, but we also just appreciate you listening. And please don't forget to share the podcast with your family and your friends. It is the best way for us to grow. Thank you for listening today. We will see you in the next one. Adios.
Amigos.